I'm Michael Steinmacher, Director of the Barr Memorial Library at Fort Knox, Kentucky. Today, we're talking with Patrick Girdondi. He is the author of Flight of the Rondone. Well, hello, sir. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your book?
Yeah, my name is Patrick Girdondi. I was born in Chicago, raised on the south side of Chicago in a working class area. I was on Oprah Winfrey's show. I didn't graduate from high school, and so that kind of entertained Oprah, and I ended up on a Rags to Riches program that she, on her show, and then I ended up on another show. I was in Playgirl magazine of one of America's Most Eligible Bachelors with Sylvester Stallone and Magic Johnson. And then I got married. My first son was diagnosed with a very rare blood disease called thalassemia. It's a cousin disease, a sickle cell disease. And since there was no cure, I decided to throw myself into the world of research. And I started that in around 1993. In 1995, I became partners with John Walton of Walmart. John is one of Sam's sons, because we had an application for our experimental medicine that worked for a person in his family. He was my partner until 2004. In 2000, I met Michel Sedelin, a French researcher working at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York. We became quick friends, and in 2005, I licensed the worldwide rights to his project, which was using a lentiviral vector, which is the HIV vector disarmed, or the HIV virus disarmed. And he placed into the disarmed HIV virus the beta globin gene, which is the genetic defect for sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia patients. And we delivered the world's first commercial batch of gene therapy for sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia in 2010. In 2011, I handed the project back to my research partners. In 2015, when things were going slow, I took them to court to get them to return the project to me. In 2016, we ended up filing charges against Bluebird Bio, Third Rock Ventures for sabotaging the whole project, which is actually what happened. It all came out in court. At the end of 2020, we were awarded the project, returned to us, plus enough money to get back on the train tracks. And now we are putting an insulator onto our product and making it safer. And going forward, hopefully we'll soon be meeting with the FDA and continue our clinical trial to begin again using our gene therapy in patients that have sickle cell disease and thalassemia.
So I'm curious about the title of your book, The Flight of the Rondone. Could you tell me a little bit about why you chose that title?
Sure. So I live in Altamura, Italy, which is a town in Puglia on the heel in southern Italy. I live here because my son in 1993 was doing experimental medicine in the United States to avoid blood transfusions at a time where no one wanted to transfuse because of the hepatitis C and AIDS virus in the blood. So he was hospitalized in San Francisco General and Children's Hospital of Oakland Research Institute. And since he couldn't live in a hospital and I couldn't afford the experimental medicine, which costed about $70,000 for 40 days, I opened up a medical center about 20 miles from my grandparents' town, and my family moved basically forever to Italy. And my son did experimental medicine until around 1998, 1999. We did clinical trials with 38 patients in Italy. We collaborated with the University of Boston, University of Milano, and we actually did arginine butyrate, which is the name of our product, in these patients. The problem with arginine butyrate is that it is very safe, but you have to do copious amounts of it. You have to do a lot of it, and you have to be hooked up to a pump, basically 12 to 16 hours a day. So in 1999, basically, my son began transfusing like all other patients. There are just a few people left on arginine butyrate today. Actually, there are people that are allergic to other people's blood for the most part, because other than that, everybody else transfuses. So the rondone is a bird that lands in southern Italy, comes from Africa. In English, the closest bird would be the swift. It travels up to 140 miles an hour to get here. And for 3.5, 4 months, it's flying all around our center, and it hatches its young, and then they fly back to Africa. But the swift is only maybe it has a body of about 4 inches long, but it has a wingspan of over a foot. So it has to land on high. It has to land 2 to 3 stories up in the air, because when it takes off again, it just throws itself into the wind, and then it can begin flapping its wings. When it lands on the ground, which happens occasionally because they collide, or sometimes the young have some kind of a trip up, the town people know to take the bird, to cup it in your hands, gently of course, and then to launch it as high as you can into the air, hoping that you get it high enough so that it can again begin flapping its wings and takes off again. So Flight of the Rondone is basically a story of my life, and whether it was the judge at 61st and Racine in Chicago, who at 16, instead of sending me to prison, sent me to the military. Whether it was the researcher who wouldn't give up hope and stayed at my side. Whether it was the friends who were investors from the soybean pit in Chicago. These are people who, when I was down and out, they picked me up and threw me into the air. So that's why the book is called Flight of the Rondone.
So tell me why you wanted to tell this story. Why did you want to put this in print?
Yeah, so when you're diagnosed, when your child is diagnosed with a rare disease, it can be quite frustrating. And over the years, we've kind of assisted dozens of people who have been in that situation. And the book is really kind of written for them. So it kind of says, here I was, a young guy, didn't graduate from high school, was in a lot of trouble. And I ended up living a very interesting and wonderful life. And then when my son was diagnosed, I was able to do something. I was able to make a difference. And you as well can make a difference. Don't get discouraged. There's no cookie cutter way to do it. Very often we end up with doctors who might not be the best doctor in the world, might be the wrong doctor. Very often they give us the wrong medicines to take. And the message is not to be discouraged, and that if you're not your own doctor, if you're not your child's own doctor, then you're a real horrible patient. And so that kind of stimulated me to write the story. And in the middle of it, the court case begins, and the court case is against Big Pharma. At one time, Bluebird Bio, the company that sabotaged our product, had a market cap of $12 billion, $12 billion in 2018. Today, they're about 300 million. But the fact of the matter is that in many ways, the health system in the United States has become hostage to some of the companies in Big Pharma. Of course, there's some wonderful executives in the United States and some wonderful companies. However, we have had problems, whether it's Vioxx from Merck in 2000. Yes, something happened here. Yeah, sorry. So whether it's Vioxx, in the early 2000s, or whether it was Paxil, which was another big scandal, or OxyContin, we're witnessing hundreds of thousands or even millions of Americans who are losing their lives because of Big Pharma. Because Big Pharma is either turning our children into drug addicts, or Big Pharma is not alerting us when a medicine will give us heart failure, or Big Pharma didn't alert us as in Paxil with GSK, that Paxil was creating suicidal thoughts in adolescents. So in a lot of ways, the health industry in the United States, which used to be a services camp, has turned into basically an industrial camp. And so I decided as well to push the book through the court case and alert people about what's going on in the industry and how they as well can fight big pharma.
I saw your book described somewhere as a story of pure luck. Why would you say, would you agree with that, and why would you say if so?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I kind of have a different idea than most people about success, and many people would conclude or insist that I'm a successful person. Successful, why? Because I was born to a poor family. We have 13 brothers and sisters when I put them all together. That we never would have had enough money to go to university or anything like that. And they say at the same time you were on Oprah twice as a guest. You started a drug company. You've been one of America's most successful bachelors. So you have been a success. And that's great that they consider me that. I really don't necessarily look at myself as a success or a failure, to be quite honest. But any of the success that I have had, I say that it's 99% luck, which aggravates a lot of people, by the way. The people that are downtrodden, they love that because they say, well, here I am sleeping under a bridge. Girondi says that it's all luck, so it's all misfortune. It's all me being unlucky, and they like that. You know, when I talk to other people, I've been on so many shows now, but when I talk to a guy like Joe Rogan, for example, and I say, no, it's all luck, man. I was born where I was born to who I was born to. I was born in Chicago. Had I not been born in Chicago, let's say I was born in South Bend, Indiana, or let's say I was born in Kansas City, or let's say I was born in New York even, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to enter the exchange, the commodities exchange, the options exchanges that are in Chicago. And that's where I basically found the possibility to make money. So it was all luck, you know. A lot of times, they'll talk about Oprah Winfrey, and I'll say, well, had Oprah Winfrey been born in Bulgaria, she probably wouldn't have became this huge media mogul that she became. So I say it's all luck. They say, well, but it's really not. You have to, you know, work hard and all of these things. And I say, yeah, I guess so. Maybe you're right. But in the end, I could have worked as hard as I wanted to. And if I was born in, you know, Pittsburgh, I'd probably be driving a truck today and not sitting on your show.
Patrick, I want to thank you for taking time to talk to me about your new book, The Flight of the Rondone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Good luck. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you.